Well, we've talked about many things. We could probably talk for many more hours about interfaith, and I think maybe in the future I'll have you back talking about some of the interfaith stuff, because I do plan to. One of the goals of the Interesting Canadian Mormons is to help us see ourselves, and to help us to learn to be more aware of others out there. And I may have people of other faith on the podcast, and I might have you join us for that.
They're very interesting Mormons. They're not even Mormon.
Well, yeah, exactly. They have to qualify to be on the podcast. You have to be either Mormon, or you have to be interesting, or you have to be Canadian.
Oh, that's pretty broad.
You don't have to be Mormon, but you have to have a Mormon connection. And there's plenty of people out there that have Mormon connections.
You reminded me of a Doctor Who comment.
And what's that?
There's a scene in one of the Christmas specials where a lady is trapped in a freezer and cryogenically frozen, and the bad guy in the story, who ends up being redeemed, says, "Oh, she's nobody important," and Doctor Who's response is, "Oh, I'd love to meet her. I've never met anybody who isn't important before." I was thinking when you said they have to be interesting, I think that probably covers everybody.
Yeah, and I've discovered that everybody really is in their own way very interesting, and that's one of the reasons why I did this podcast, is because there's so many podcasts out there that feature Mormonism in one way or another, and there's a whole variety, there's a whole spectrum of, from the left to the right and anything in between on Mormon culture and history and theology.
And now people see for real that we're just as freaky as they thought.
Well, that's part of it. Yeah, the part of the purpose of the podcast is to keep Mormonism weird. So
there you go. That could be the slogan.
Yeah. It's already taken though. Someone's
really?
Someone's got that. Yeah,
really.
There's a blog out there, Keeping Mormonism Weird. So
that's terrific.
And so, but what I wanted to talk about in this part of the podcast, because I think this is a big part of you that we haven't talked about much. We did a little bit at the beginning, but this is a big part that makes you an interesting Mormon, is the community work that you do that's outside of the multi-faith efforts that you have. And that is I don't know why you do it. Maybe you could explain that. What makes you tick? What makes you do what you do? You do amazing things that raise money for charitable causes, and you help people, and I don't know how many thousands you've helped over your the course.
I doubt it's been thousands, and frankly, again, not being a brilliant businessman, I haven't really made these things highly successful, but they're fun to try. You're talking about the concerts, of course.
I'm talking about the concerts that you do. Yeah. Now, I can just say from experience that I've been involved with one of your community events, and that was the Out of the Ashes benefit concert, and that was for raising money for the foster home that burned down.
Morningside
Foster Home, and a bunch of Christian artists got together, put on this happy old concert, and raised some money, hopefully, for that cause.
A little bit was raised. So that was unfortunately the day of a blackout, so a lot of people didn't show up.
Yeah.
But there was still enough that some money was raised for
the troopers that came, I'm just very thankful that they came, and I was invited, thankfully, as one of the Christian artists, and it's so nice to be called a Christian artist. So once in a while, sometimes I've been involved with friends and things that want to do musical projects, and they want to, in the past, joining a Christian band, I wasn't allowed to join because I wasn't a Christian, which is like,
right.
Oh, well, yes, I am, but no, I totally understand that. But like this was amazing. We had a blast, and it was, I thought, even if, there was the community got together, and there was awareness raised for this, for this family that had lost their home, and raise some money. So tell us a little bit about that. What makes you tick? What makes you do it? And
first, I have a strong arts background. My mother was an actress and poet. My dad's an actor and poet. We grew up. My mother also plays piano, so we grew up with music and acting and art and writing as part of what you do. I actually have to admit, the only kind of human being I don't understand is a person who doesn't have art as a central component of their lives. And there's a few of them out there. Met them. I'm surprised they exist. But so I went to art high school, and played music, was in theater. And as you mentioned earlier, my wife is a phenomenal singer. She also draws and writes, and we sort of have that all-around artistic background. So, of course, we wanted to give that to our kids as well.
Yes, and just mentioning, I've seen your kids perform, and very
they're pretty good,
very impressive.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm impressed. I live vicariously through them.
I know the feeling.
They write their own music and perform it.
And open. By the way, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. Open door invitation. Anytime they want to record in the studio, they're welcome to it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Just let them know, and if they're listening, I'll remind you again. Doors open.
Yeah, and so when my son started learning guitar, I thought it would be nice to get together a bunch of guitarists, mature guitarists for him to learn from, because I didn't play. My wife can tinker on guitar but doesn't know it that well.
Mm-hmm.
So I had run into a fellow who's a member of the church who hasn't been coming out to the church for 40 years, who was a very good guitarist, has a couple of bands, and so I got him, and then other members of the church and non-members, people we'd met who were guitarists, and said, come on over to my place, we'll have a barbecue, and you play guitar and show my son how it's done. As it turned out, my son spent most of the time in the basement with his friends, and we had a fantastic jam session up in the living room and on the deck, and I called it Guitarbecue. And I've done Guitarbecue 3 times. I'm trying to get the 4th one going. The 3rd time, we actually took it out to Waterloo Park and set up a big, we went in the, not gazebo, but I guess the covered picnic area,
mm-hmm.
and put up tarps to cover it, and had a full band, had drums and everything there, got complaints from the neighbors. Police even came out. It was very exciting, very rock and roll.
That's awesome. Yeah. But that makes if I was your son, I'd be like, yeah, my dad's cool.
He's
cool. Getting arrested.
I was trying trying to go for the cool points. No, but and of course my son did get to perform with these other guitarists and learn from them, and hopefully that was a good experience. But it gave me sort of I got the bite, or what's the expression anyway? I got bitten with the bug, the itch. That's it. Yeah. For putting on these musical events, and so my kid's high school, Eastwood Collegiate, was doing a fundraiser. I can't remember what they called it. They had a cool name for it. And I said, well, I'll try and arrange a concert then. And I ended up putting on a 3-hour concert that I think 30 people attended. It was not successfully marketed somehow. We tried like everything we could. But we had that fellow I mentioned earlier, the guy who used to attend the church. We had his band. We had several alumni from the school come and perform, concert pianists and singers and various things. KW Glee participated,
mm-hmm.
Members of the Grand Philharmonic Choir, the KW Symphony, a member of the church who'd just come off his mission and was getting back into being a punk rock singer. He came and performed a couple songs. And we had Lynn Jackson, who's a local folk rock singer-songwriter, terrific performer. She performed there for us as well. Awesome. So we had this long string. I called it From Rock to Rhapsody. Yeah, I think that's what I would call it, From Rock to Rhapsody. And we did through sponsorships and through the attendance, we raised a couple of $1,000s for the school. So that was
amazing.
Nice.
That's amazing. And I can I just remember being in high school and being being a part of these kinds of things. What an amazing experience for all those that.
I think it was one of the most fun things. Jay Chagnon or Chagnon, I'm not sure how to pronounce it properly, who was at the time a TV announcer on Rogers Daytime.
Mm-hmm.
He was our MC for the night, and he had a lot of fun with that, and added a lot of character to it, and made it fun for everyone to be part of it. But that was fun to do. And then the next thing for me was the 10th anniversary of Joe Strummer's death. As I mentioned earlier, big Clash fan.
Mm-hmm.
I love Joe Strummer. He's a flawed human being in many ways, but what a terrific person and terrific artist. And so I wanted to commemorate the 10th anniversary of his passing. And so I spoke to Cara Finch, who's a local indie rock guru, concert master kind of person. She's now working with the Norfolk Blues Festival. She said, well, let's not just do a concert, let's make this a festival. So we created Strummerfest.
Strummerfest.
Where we had
I see your flyers.
Yeah.
Strummerfest. I'll go to the Little Bean coffee shop, for example. That's where my daughter does her little recital.
They were key for the second Strummerfest.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
And I see the Strummerfest. I'm like, I think Michael Clifton has something to do with that thing.
Yeah,
That was you, eh?
Yeah, we've managed to do it for 2 years. Each year having a main stage with some sort of headline performers, and then 4 or 5 other stages around downtown Kitchener where all the local bands and individuals who like to perform come and have their opportunity. Some of them exceptional, some of them just okay, but it's everyone's there with the right feeling, and the intent is to raise money for suicide prevention charities.
Yeah.
So that's been very nice to do, and sort of struggling to get the third year going. We had some people participating in organizing it who've had to pull out for personal reasons, and Care Finch, as I say, is now doing the Norfolk Blues Festival, so she really doesn't have time to do it. So I have another connection in Toronto, another indie rock guru type lady who does a podcast. So she might help us to get a Toronto show going, but my own circumstances with my daughter getting married and things this year have thrown that for a loop. But so I'm hoping to do a third year of Strummerfest, and then in between all of that was the Out of the Ashes concert for Morningside.
Yeah.
So I guess in all I've done 4 big type events, 7 actual musical events, and within Strummerfest, of course, it multiplies because there's multiple stages.
Yeah, that's a big thing. It's a big deal here in Kitchener-Waterloo. It's one of the things that make it Kitchener in a way.
I'm glad to hear that. So, I would like it to have a long tradition.
Yeah,
but we'll see what happens this year.
So Michael Clifton, the philosophical Mormon punk rock guy.
Yeah, there you go.
What amazing. You know what? Thank you very much for coming to speak with me, and hopefully our listeners will follow the link on the website. Is there a link to Strummerfest? Is there a
Strummerfest website and Facebook page?
Okay, yeah. I'll post it on the website. Check it out.
Excellent.
Those that are local to Kitchener Stake, check it out if you like music of any kind. It's not just punk, right? It's
no. In fact, there's not enough punk in it.
Not enough.
but we may also do a show in Toronto this year. Our hope was to do one in August or September, a belated celebration of Joe Strummer's birth. His birthday and mine are only 2 days apart.
Oh, so awesome!
And this year I turned 50, which is the age he was when he died. So it's a very special year for me. Got to do something.
It's got to happen this year. So yeah. That's awesome. Okay, I'll put links on the website. And thank you very much, Michael, for your time. And
thank you, Sam. It's nice to be here.
This has been another episode of Interesting Canadian Mormons. To participate in the discussion for this episode, or to subscribe to the podcast, please visit us at interestingcanadianmormons.com. You can also find us in the iTunes Store. Thanks for listening.